What's up, YouTubers? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about Lamar Jackson and his struggles against the Steelers and his struggles just overall. So let's see what they have to say about that.
What's the bigger story here? That the Steelers remain undefeated or that Lamar continues to struggle?
I think
The Steelers remain undefeated.
the story is that the Steelers remain undefeated because Lamar's struggles were relatively predictable. What did he finish on? He finished on 13 to 28 for 208 yards. What did I tell y'all coming into the game? It's a problem when he is forced to pass the ball. You know, obviously we know what an extraordinary runner that he is, but when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, the story right now, they are the only undefeated team in the National Football League. They are 7-0. Big Ben Roethlisberger had a horrid first half, showed up in the second half and handled his business, and the Steelers
Yep.
played smash mouth football and were able to neutralize a nemesis in their division, which is the Baltimore Ravens. They were down 17-7 at the half. I didn't expect them to come back and win this game, but that's exactly what they did. And when you look at the way that they're defending, when you look at the key stop with knowing that Lamar Jackson was going to probably run on that 4th and 2, and John Harbaugh called that play anyway, and ultimately the Steelers neutralized them and shut them down. The play at the end of the game when Micah Fitzpatrick with his perfect timing just batted down that pass. I just love what I saw from their defense. Not so much offensively, but they did what they needed to do. They took advantage of opportunities, but the real reason that the Steelers are the story outside of being undefeated is the fact that, again, that defense showed up. They are something special. We can't deny it. But more importantly, they got very, very predictable results from Lamar Jackson, who we all know is a
Yep.
electrifying. He's the reigning league MVP for a reason. But if you want to beat the Baltimore Ravens, make Lamar Jackson throw instead of run. And if you do that, your chances of beating the Baltimore Ravens elevates exponentially.
Yeah, well,
that's what we're looking.
Yeah, so this was definitely a game that happens on your way, on your road to the championship for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sometimes you're just not going to have a good game or start out with a good game. But in the end, you have to be able to stay composed and come back, stick to the game plan, and do what you need to do to come back. This is exactly the type of games that happen during a championship-type season. You know, Ben Roethlisberger played trash in the first half, but then comes back in the second half. So now they know that they can be down and they can still come back. So this is one of the games that happens on your road to a championship. And definitely, you know, if you can shut down Lamar Jackson, you shut down pretty much the Baltimore Ravens offense. Everybody knows he's their bread and butter, so he's going to throw the rock or he's going to run the rock, and it's all going to be about him. But if you can make him one-dimensional and make him just throw the rock, it's going to be a long day for Lamar Jackson. But the Pittsburgh Steelers definitely took care of business. So let's continue.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Well, look, I first will give props to the Steelers because the world just feels right. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but the world feels right when Pittsburgh is a powerhouse and their defense is the reason, right? Like, things are right. That's how it's supposed to be. So hats off to the Steelers, who have an argument for being the best team in football. The real question is Mike Tomlin the best coach in football, considering New England struggles right now? Hats off to the Steelers.
I would say yes. I mean, he has the only undefeated team at 7-0. They're firing on all cylinders. So I don't know why he wouldn't. There's definitely competition, but my vote would be for Mike Tomlin.
But I'll say this. They were 8-8 with nothing under center last year. They get Roethlisberger back. I was figuring pencil them in at least for 10 wins, 12 if things go right, and it looks like they're going to have at least that. It's a big story, no doubt. The biggest story, guys, I'm sorry. Lamar Jackson is now, I want you to really consider these numbers. 24-1 against everyone else. In the NFL, you can't go 24-1. It's not possible. 24-1 against everyone else. 0-6 in his biggest games. 0-6.
Yeah, but in his biggest games, he's the only one doing everything. He needs some help. He definitely needs another receiver. He needs a running back. He needs something to help him so they're not one-dimensional. You can just shut Lamar Jackson down. He needs some help. That's why he's losing to some of these big, good teams.
2 losses in the playoffs, 3 losses to Kansas City, and now a loss to Pittsburgh when they've had Roethlisberger. In other words, when it's really the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are clearly the 6 highest profile games he's played in. He's lost all 6. How do you go from 24-1 in 25 games? You're basically undefeated, an impossibility in football, in the NFL, to going winless when they need you most. I don't want to hear about.
So what that does is shows that Lamar Jackson's an absolute baller. He just needs a little bit more help to get over the hump of the better teams, and he should be okay. I mean, if he's cleaning house by himself with regular teams, but when he gets up against the Kansas City Chiefs or Pittsburgh Steelers, which, you know, those are great teams, he falls apart. That's definitely, I would take that, because all you have to do, there's a little something he needs to tweak. A little something he needs to tweak before he starts beating the Kansas Cities and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that little tweak might be another all-star player with him.
Well, when they turn him into a pocket passer, he can't get it done. What do you think? Only the Chiefs and only playoff teams and only the Steelers with Roethlisberger realize that? No. Is the Steelers' defense so much different than last year, or did they get their quarterback back? So why is it Lamar can't play well under those conditions? I think it has a little less to do with forcing him to become a pocket passer, then he can't do it, and a little more to do with him not being able to do it with the chips on the line. Be very clear, this doesn't mean he can never do it, but so far in his NFL career, he has not been the same player when the light shines brightest, and to me, that is the biggest story.
Oh, man, my face is a little oily. You know, we don't.
Yeah, nah, I got to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers being 7-0 because that's huge. I told everybody, never count out Ben Roethlisberger. He's a well-seasoned Hall of Fame, 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback that I would never count out, and he's still very dangerous, and he's proven that by being 7-0. That trumps Lamar Jackson's struggles with the Pittsburgh Steelers and struggles with just the league overall, because you know the man needs some help. Give that man some weapons. Give that man a Tyreek Hill or a Travis Kelce or a Kittles or some great players. Let him have that, and I bet you he'll be beating up on those higher echelon teams.
Makeup. I just picked this up, guys. I didn't even know what that was. It was just laying around the house, man. That's crazy. It's crazy how that happens. I agree with Max. You're going to go first off. You're going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers came out and they won the game. But then you got to look at the game, and that's how you get to Lamar Jackson, to this being more about Lamar Jackson. The Baltimore Ravens rushed for 265 yards. The Baltimore Ravens held the Pittsburgh Steelers without a touchdown in the first half. So when you hear those two things, no touchdowns in the first half, you rush for 265 yards, you think that the Baltimore Ravens, who actually dominated the league's best run defense, wins the game. But they don't, because Lamar Jackson turns the ball over 3 times. 2 interceptions that are actually unexplainable. You can't have a defense for them. You can't misread and go to and pick the wrong check down. You can't misread the drop of the linebacker and go to the second layer, not the first. That's a mental mistake by your quarterback. You can't not hold on to the ball in the red zone and allow Bud Dupree to get the ball out. So what's starting to happen now is in the biggest moments when teams are tightly matched, Lamar Jackson can't be the difference. So what we're seeing is in games, in those 25 games, Max, where the Baltimore Ravens are the better team, where the Baltimore Ravens are a better coach, where the Baltimore Ravens are more physical, where their rosters match up favorably against certain teams, they can win. They can blow those teams out because it doesn't come down to clutch moments from their quarterback. And I'm the biggest Lamar fan there is. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him win. But this is becoming a reoccurring theme. When it's the biggest games, when the lights are the brightest, Lamar Jackson doesn't perform. And it's not that he doesn't get numbers or the offense.
Yeah, no, I disagree with that. I think he needs to get some weapons, like I keep saying over and over and over. Give him some weapons, and then we'll see if he's still losing these big-time games when the pressure's on. Like I said, give that man some weapons, and I bet you he'll perform under that pressure.
It doesn't look good. It's that in situational football moments, he comes up short. And if you do that, your team can't win a Super Bowl. Your team can't win a championship. And that's what this has come down to for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Can you win championships? And you can't with him playing that